this here? Look at that. You got what the world needs. I got what the world needs. I want you to know that I'm very blessed and grateful for all you people who have subscribed to my channel and join me every day that I come on here live. Folks, I tell the truth. I tell the facts. I'm a human being just like the rest of you. Sometimes I make a mistake. And when I do make a mistake or say something wrong, I correct it once I find out. Okay? You know what irks me, folks? We all know what Diddy did. All of us know. A lot of us don't like Diddy. Okay? That's understandable. But the worst thing that anybody could do is to drag his children into it. Yeah, you don't bring the children into the mess. They had nothing to do with what their father did. There is somebody on YouTube. I'm not going to give you his name. But, you know, his initials are M&M, just like the candy. Huh? He's got 413,000 subscribers. He's across the pond over in England. And he talks like he knows he's got to put down his children. Diddy has 7 children. A few from Kim Porter, okay? These children got to live with what they went to court. They supported their father. You got to give them credit for that. When I got arrested, who supported me? My children. But this guy got 413,000 subscribers. Okay, he flew to New York for the sentencing. I have prison guards that I know and I talk to. Today, he's talking about Diddy's got all these problems in MDC Brooklyn. It's total crap. Diddy is in what they call a sort of special housing unit with only 20 inmates. Only 20. Folks, that's not general population. Each unit at MDC holds normally 120 inmates or more. I know. I've been there. I spent 30 months there. So I know what it's like. I talked to the prison guard yesterday just to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. Diddy has no problems there. 20 inmates. He's got Sam Bankman. He's got Mangione. And those are the kind of people that are in that unit. People that if they put them in general population, they might be in danger. Okay? I mean, there's only so many special housing units where they only have one person. So they developed this here over in the old building, okay, on 4 North, where Diddy's at. I know it. It used to be 120. They reduced it to 20. But this guy has got to lie. He's got to talk about the children. Oh, he does great. He's got great titles, all right? He knows how to work YouTube. I don't, okay? I try to do my best, all right? I don't post things that other people post, okay, and do all that there and all that crap, okay? I come here, it's me in the raw, and you get the truth. I've always told the truth. Because the truth will always prevail. Without you folks, I would not be here. I am very grateful for each and every one of you who come. Yeah, I don't have a 500,000 viewers, okay? All right? But if you look at my viewership percentage, all right, I get more views for the number of subscribers I have on a percentage basis than almost every other YouTuber. That's why, you know the reason why? I have the best people, I have the honest people, and I have people who want to know the truth. And it's all because of you. So folks, I want you to know I don't make a lot of money on YouTube. Okay, the money I do make is from you folks that give me those thanks. Okay? And I want you to know sincerely, I appreciate those thanks that you give me when you hit that thanks button. And folks, if you haven't already, all right, please hit the subscribe button. Please subscribe, all right, so that I can come here, all right, and I really miss you folks. And some of you write in the comment, like and subscribe to Ori's. You folks are the best. I'll tell you something. Really, seriously. All right, the best. But this guy is irritating me. But yet people go and watch him. Why? Why? When he cannot tell the truth. I come here, folks. You see me. Most days, I wear a sport coat. I come to you presentable. I come to you with respect, honor, and loyalty. Okay? People ask me if I know Marilyn Monroe. No, I did not know Marilyn Monroe. I know quite a bit about her, though. Okay? All right? Somebody asked me what gang. I was not with a gang. I was with what you call a family. All right? And the FBI put me with the Colombo crime family out of New York, where I was indicted 2008 on a federal RICO case with 14 other co-defendants. It was a big case, okay? Very serious case. It's there, you can Google it, or, all right, you can read it in my book here, The Accidental Gangster, From Insurance Salesman to Hollywood Fixer, all right? How did I become a Hollywood fixer? What did I do as a Hollywood fixer? Okay? Read about my stories in prison. Okay? Read how I met Sonny Franchese, Russell Buffalino, Frank Costello, Carlo Marcello, Jimmy Cacci. Jimmy Cacci, who was the underboss of Los Angeles. You see, the FBI couldn't determine what family I was with. They had me with the Los Angeles family, and they had me with the Colombo family in New York. I was basically a renegade, okay? All right? And that's who I am. I still am, and I'm not going to change, okay? I don't know what's going wrong. I posted a short today on YouTube. It's only 40 seconds, and it took like 15 minutes to upload. My Wi-Fi is strong. I did that, all that stuff there, okay. But, let's talk about the Mendez brothers. Some of you feel sorry for these boys. One who did not he got denied yesterday from the parole board, okay? This is a typical case, folks. I don't know who did that movie on them, okay, that was on Netflix. But that didn't help these guys at all because it brought out and it showed how they unalived their mother. Now, their father was the one that was doing naughty things with them, and he did it with others. And guess what? His father was RCA Records, the music business. Why is it the music business? What's wrong with these guys? Okay? They think I go after young kids. What is wrong with them? Okay? I can't understand it. But it's irritating. But, you know, and plus, he was not a good inmate while he was in prison. He had cell phones, drugs, okay, and he did all sorts of things. The parole board made the right decision, okay? I don't know what they're going to do with her brother today, but I think, you know, he's older than the one yesterday. He should have known better, but he didn't. And I don't think the one's going to get it today, okay? Just my thoughts, folks. I could be wrong, okay? Yeah, Marilyn, let's talk a little bit about Marilyn Monroe, folks, because at the cemetery where Marilyn is, right next to her is Hugh Hefner, okay? And people want to talk and they say Hugh Hefner was like Diddy, okay? No, he was not. He didn't go for underage children. Hugh Hefner didn't do that. Hugh Hefner was a gentleman, okay, around women. He didn't beat women. How could people make that accusation? What's wrong with people? Don't people take a moment to think about things before they say something? You know? It's just disgusting. But folks, please subscribe to my channel here. Like, share, okay? Thank you, Lindy. You're awesome, kid. And folks, hit that thanks button. Don't be shy. I don't know why. Yesterday I did a live show, okay, on Sunset Boulevard at Sunset Plaza, and I told a lot of stories about things that happened there, okay, and I only had 20-something views, and I did that early in the morning. I contributed to the fact that it was early in the morning, all right, and I only had about 20-something people, which is very unusual for me. And now today, this is like the same thing. So I don't know. I guess the algorithm doesn't like Ori Spado. Okay? What can I say? But let's go. Thank you, Lindy. God bless you. Lindy, come through with $10, folks. Okay? Folks, it's with this money that keeps me going. All right? Because it costs me money to do these shows. Because I print stuff out, you know, we have Pacer, like a lot of other people have Pacer on YouTube, all right, to get the information from the court. Now, you know, Diddy is trying to get a retrial, okay? Very unlikely he will get it, all right? But going back to these YouTubers who want to put down their children, why? Don't they have any empathy at all? Especially for the children with Kim Porter, who are hearing all these rumors that maybe it was their father who made their mother unalive. I don't know if that's true, not true. I wasn't there, okay? We don't know that, all right? It might be true because a lot of people became unalive, all right, in the way she went with that pneumonia. You know, they all died of pneumonia or whatever it was, okay? You know, folks, in my trial, my case was in the Eastern District in New York. They kept trying to bring my son into it, my son Anthony. Why? The only reason why they tried to bring him in, that he had tried to claim he had something to do with it, they wanted to bring him in on my indictment. I fought it like hell. My son lived with me. So when I had the guys from New York come out here for a burglary in Burbank, which was a set-up burglary, meaning the people that we were going to burglarize and take the safe out of there, okay? We were doing it with her blessing, but we had to make it look like a robbery, okay? My son lives with me. So when those guys from New York came and I was giving them instruction, okay, my son was there. And based upon that, they wanted to bring him in. I fought like hell to not have my son. You know what? I eventually won. You know why I won, folks? Okay, because I wrote my own motions. I was talking to the judge. Do you know the way you talk to a judge is through your motions that you got to submit to the court? That's the only way you talk, okay? Finally, the judge said he's off. Took my son, Anthony, off, okay? Told the prosecutors just the truth, okay? Diddy's children, leave them alone. Eminem, you know who you are. If you watch my show, you probably don't, okay? Okay? Yeah, Selena Moore, how are you? All right, folks, you're Austin, all right? Hit that thanks button. Thank you, folks. All right? Let's try to get it up to $25 today, okay? We're getting more people in here, which is awesome. Have you subscribed, okay? Please subscribe to my, all right? Everything you do, folks do here is very helpful to me, all right? So guess who the Mendez brothers is? Guess. Anybody know who it is? I do. Mark Garagos is their lawyer. Yeah. See, people want to go and hire these lawyers that they get that are on TV every day so they become notorious. Folks, when you're in prison, keep your mouth shut. You don't want to become notorious. Okay? I feel that Netflix show destroyed these boys' chances of parole. They've been there for 35 years now. Seems like it happened yesterday, but they've been there 35 years. Yesterday, I spoke about my friend Charlie Bronson, or the day before. My friend Charlie Bronson, you all remember the movie Bronson with Tom Hardy? It was the movie that made Tom Hardy parallel up in his career. Charlie Bronson is a real, genuine friend of mine, okay? He's been in prison for 50 years, okay? He didn't unalive nobody. He didn't rape nobody. There was no child involved, okay? And none of that, but violence. He was violent in prison. Yeah, he kidnapped the warden one day. Yeah, he actually kidnapped the warden in prison. They call it violence. Okay? Fox News alert. Mm. They got a thing, I got the TV, it's on mute, and they got the Mendez's brothers up there. I don't know what they're saying. Right there, the killing of your mother especially shows a lack of empathy. These boys are not going to get it, okay? Lyle is still in his parole hearing, but, he'll probably be denied just like his brother was yesterday, and for the very same reasons, okay? So, somebody wrote me about those. I was on Instagram this morning. Somebody wrote about that there's no respect with our children in this world, okay? And there's not. Folks, if we have any young parents here, teach your children respect. It will go a long way in their life, and you help them immensely, okay? It's really nice to have these people come in here, okay, who are wise guys, very disrespectful, and they want to say things, you could read it in the comments here, okay? They don't bother me at all. You know why? I know they're nothing burgers. They're nobodies. They got nothing to do, all right? Maybe they're bots, okay? I have no, all right? So, don't worry about them, folks. Let them talk, okay? Because the only ones they're hurting is themselves. They're not hurting me. They're not hurting you, okay? I thank you all who support me here, all right? So, I wanted to share that with you folks, all right? And, me personally, I feel sorry for Diddy's children. They don't know what's going to happen. Diddy don't know what's going to happen, okay? Diddy's not a guy, not a good guy, no question about that there, okay? And he's a man who beats women. And now he's trying everything he could. He wants to be out so he could spend time with his family. Now, Diddy, why didn't you spend time with your family when you were out? Okay? That's when you should have been doing it. Your children are all older now. They don't need you. Your two daughters live out here in California, going to college, okay? Want to better themselves. All your children want to better themselves. You weren't there for them. No, you weren't. Let me read some things that I did, okay? All right? Diddy's twin daughters are living in Los Angeles with their late mother, Kim Porter's friend, LaWanda Lala Lane. Following Sean Diddy Combs' arrest in 2024. Before the arrest, the twins lived with Diddy at his mansion in Homey Hills, okay? Which I've been there a few times, and I showed you all that there. Diddy has several children with different mothers. Before her passing away in 2018, Kim Porter had a close relationship with Diddy, and their children were co-parented. They were co-parenting them, according to Yahoo. Aren't the twins are in their final years of high school and focusing on their education. Diddy has other children with different mothers, including Misa, uh, Hilton, Sarah Chapman, and Dana Tran, and he co-parents with them. So obviously, when he was having his freak-out parties, which lasted for several days, he was not with his children. Okay? And then when he wasn't having the freak-out parties, he was paying attention to his business. Okay? Which provided him the money to be able to do the things that he was doing. So I don't buy that he wants to spend time with his family. And then he comes out that he wants to help abused women. Well, he hasn't even completed the courses for himself. He has not taken responsibility for his actions. Done none of the things that you should be doing. None of them. Folks, you know, I was fortunate before I went to prison that my friends like Sonny Franche, Jimmy Cacci, and these others who spent a lot of time in prison. Okay? Thank you, Short Dog Kennel. All right? Thank you, Lindy. You're awesome. What was I going to say? I forgot. I learned because, you know, I used to say Jimmy Cacci and Sonny were always stories after stories. I mean, I spent a lot of time with these guys, folks. Okay? And I always said to myself, I hope when I get old, I'm not going to be telling stories like that. And here I am telling stories. But I'm telling it to all of you, okay? And, but one thing I learned, that when you are arrested and you do go to prison, okay, keep your mouth shut. Don't even tell, you know, don't trust other inmates. Don't tell other inmates about crimes that you were not indicted for. Because invariably, when the prosecutors do indict you, they indict you on what they have. You might have more than likely did a lot of other crimes that you did not get indicted for because they couldn't find that information. So do not tell another inmate back there. Because those inmates want to get out of prison like every inmate wants to get out of prison. And they'll go to the law and tell them what you said. Yeah, you have rats. They wear wires in prison. All right? I was shocked when I came out of prison and how it changed. And I was there for 62 months. All right? But can you imagine somebody, take my friend Charlie Bronson, if he gets parole after 50 years in prison, what's he coming out to? You know, I had a friend in Lampo. His name was Ziggy, Ignacio, trying to think of his real name. I always called him Iggy. He was my closest friend in Lampo. He was doing 2 life sentences. He was originally from New York. He was not involved with the mob either. But he killed more people than any mob guy did, okay? So he got 2 life sentences. And he and I walked the yard together every day. He cooked for me. He was a great cook, okay? And, you know, he got transferred from the USP down to the medium where I was, okay? And great guy. And he had shanks located all over the yard. Whew, boy, he had shanks. And, but we were walking the yard one day, all right? And, yes, Tricky, I did. I had cells with several black guys, all great guys, okay? All great guys, I gotta tell you. Some of them are in touch with me today, okay? One guy named Papa, he might be here, I don't know, are you here, Papa? Okay, he's out in New York. We just talked the other day, okay? Yes, so, yes. But, as I was saying, see, my son said, Dad, you can't be reading all those questions. And he's right, I can't because it, but anyway, walking the yard with Iggy one day. And Iggy says to me, he said, I just finished one life sentence. A life sentence in federal prison is like 32, 34 years, something like that there. That's considered a life. I said, really, Iggy? Now, by this time, Iggy's about 62 years old, okay? And I say to Iggy, all right, Iggy, you know what? You could live long enough to finish your second life term. I said, what would you do if you did? And he looked at me. He said, the first thing I would do is I would get a piece, he says, and I would unalive my probation officer. Look at folks, what kind of life would he have? Okay, after spending 65 years in a prison, all right? So just think about it. But anyways, folks, it's a little funny, but he meant it, okay? And, you know, there's a lot of things that happen in prison that, you know, some of you might imagine, okay? And someday I'm going to talk about those things, okay? I didn't do none of them, okay? I had no cell phones in prison. Today, people are getting cell phones brought in, okay? And they're getting, if they get caught with them, they get big trouble. Who's bringing those cell phones in? Okay? Place like MDC, it's only to be the guards, okay? Because you're not going to bring it in if somebody visits you in the visiting room, because you are strip searched when you go to the visiting room, and you're strip searched when you go back to your unit, okay? So prison's not a great life, but you have to learn to adapt to it. I knew the day would come, and when it did come, my mindset changed, and I adapted immediately, okay? So folks, I'm gonna be talking more. You like prison stories? No, I asked a question, I only got a few answers, okay? A lot of you people like it when I'm out at the park or when I go on the road and do a live while I'm out there. Yesterday I did a live on Sunset Boulevard, and I told a lot of stories about some Jamaican friends of mine, how we met there, and then how one of them was a big marijuana dealer. He ended up going to prison. How Jimmy Henchman was a friend of mine, very dear friend. Okay, I mentioned those things. That was on Sunset Boulevard. So I asked a question, would you folks like me to go to Hollywood Boulevard, okay, and show you the Grauman's Theater, show you the stars and names on the street that they have there, things like that there. So if you like that, please leave a comment, okay? I would deeply appreciate it, all right? I do enjoy it when I go to the park. Today it's 90, it's in the high 90s today. I'm not going to the park today, okay? But folks, I love you all. I'm going to be back here with you shortly. All right, I'll be back here maybe tomorrow and we'll do a live show. I think I might go up to Hollywood Boulevard. So hang on. Spam call. All right. Whatever, 93 where you're at? Huh? Yes, Nancy, yes. Nancy was a journalist. I thank you, Nancy. That's my friend Nancy Gray out of Utah. Okay? Thank you, Keisha. So I'm going to do more live for you shows for you folks. All right? So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. And anybody, if you could afford it, whether it's $1.99, $4.99, whatever you could afford, if you could do it, hit the thanks button. I honestly hate even asking for it, okay? But I want you to know that it helps me, okay? And Diddy's asked for a new trial, by the way, and once, judge gave him, they got to answer some questions. I doubt he's going to get it, okay, but if I'll be back with more information on that there, all right? I want to answer RJ's question. Who were the more, thank you, Keisha. Thank you for that, thanks, Keisha. Okay, we got some very generous people out there, and I appreciate that. Somebody, who were the most vicious, the New York mob, Chicago mob, or LA? It was not the LA mob, I guarantee you that. All right? Chicago was, yeah. But in New York, you had 5 families. Believe it or not, the one that they claim is the most vicious happens to be the family that they say that I was with. Okay? Thank you, Short Dog Kennel. Please, I love you guys. All right, for that thing. All right, they say it was the Colombo family. They say we're the most vicious one of the 5 crime families. So that's what people say. Who can we believe? Okay? But folks, one thing you could always be guaranteed when Ori Spado talks, he's telling the truth. He's telling you true stories from his life, from his wisdom, things that he's experienced. It's funny, somebody was in the car one day, they picked me up to go do an interview, and I said, boy, I got a story of what happened over here. They drive a little, oh boy, what a story I got, what happened here. I got stories of things that I've done all over Los Angeles. And, I got to get somebody to drive me because I can't do it while I'm driving, otherwise they won't show it, okay? So I can get somebody to drive me, and I'm going to bring those stories to you, all right? Because I am very grateful for each and every one of them. So everybody, it's Friday. Be safe, be careful, enjoy your day, whatever you're going to do. God bless you all, as usual, all right? All my love and respect to you. I'll see you folks tomorrow. Thank you. God bless. Take care.